Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. Wherever you are, welcome to the stream. Uh, so last night I was going through some code that I did that I've been working on for a while. That is to try and figure out what the user draw on screen. So if you draw on a square, a triangle, a circle, an arc. So I was working on that, and today I'm going to show you a little bit of how I'm trying to achieve that. Now, there are Python libraries that can do shape detection. I know of one, but it does it with by analyzing images. So I'm not really gonna. If I already have vectors, a list of vectors, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not going to turn something into an image just to figure out the shape. So I started looking at what I can do with math and using math utils from Blender, because this is happening in Blender here, and to try and figure out how to do that. Anyway, this is going to be a short stream. Well, it's 6:30 right now, and at 9 o'clock I gotta go. Good. Gonna fire up Blender here. Okay, so I did look into that library, I think, and read a little bit of how they're doing things, and came up with this. I think I got a little bit of the code. We're getting. Apparently, my phone is going crazy. I'm about to throw it against the wall because it's not shutting up. I'm not getting any. Oh, right. Okay, somebody's sending me a message. Yeah. Okay, that's fine. So I got these. Basically, what I'm doing is I'm grabbing points. So when you draw something using the annotations that are in Blender, this draw is just an OpenGL draw with a bunch of points, right? So if I do that, I start writing where I didn't want it to. Okay, so if I hold D and just do that, that's just a bunch of points to create a visual representation of the tracing your mouse. And we can grab those points. So basically that's what I'm doing. I'm just grabbing those points and then I'm running them through this arcline function, which I can't remember what it does, but this is what it does. I'm getting okay. So these points, they're vectors. So I'm getting the sum length, the length of the sum of the vectors. Blah, blah, blah. You can see what it does, arc length. So we get the arc length, and then we use this simplify polyline just to simplify, because that's like hundreds of points in there. So we use simplify polyline. We pass in that I just showed you, multiply by resolution. 0.04 in my case works really well. And simplify polyline, that's a bit more, as you can see, there's a bit more code in there. And that's what it does. I don't want to go through it. It simplifies the polyline, so you end up with less points to process, to look at. Okay. So then in here, I just look at how many points we got, and I try to determine the stroke type. Now this stroke type, I wrote this, it's very rudimentary. And all it does is this, it returns a point if there's less than 2 vectors found. So from that function that we were looking at, it's going to give me just a few vectors. So a line usually gives you 2 vectors, one start and one end. A point will just give you 1 vector, obviously. I didn't even realize that line here looks at the distance from start to end. I've done this in a while. And if you can't determine if it's a point or a line, it gives me a circle. Right. I'm probably gonna skip this one because it doesn't make much sense now. Well, the main function is detecting the angles. And I'm getting the angle from 3 vectors using this. Okay? So math degrees is just turning this function here into degrees so that I can ask how many degrees I have in an angle. Like an easy way to show you that is, for example, here, this draw gave me 1, 2, 3, 4 points. And I look at these angles here with those functions. I'll get back to the functions in a second. And with that, and I make sure in Blender we can use the ruler, to make sure if the angle is correct. I make sure that the angle is correct. Oh, I played it like that. Sorry, I just woke up. So that gives me the angles. This function right here. So I pass in the vectors, which are the points in this case, and I say anything below a threshold of 100 of below 100 degrees, give it to me. Why? Because 95 degrees is like a sharp, it's like a sharp angle. So when you do a square, you end up with 1, 2, 3, 90 sharp degree, roughly 90 degrees sharp angles. These V's here, they're vectors. So basically, I'm just subtracting vector 2 from vector 1. And then Blender vectors have angle, which is the angle between the vector that you pass and the vector after that. And so I'm subtracting vector 2 from vector 3. So what is vector 1 and 2 and 3? For example, in the case that I was looking at here, these would be vector 0, 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so if I'm looking at vector 1 here, I want to see what's that. I'm basically getting subtracting vector 2, which is the next vector from this vector, and then getting the angle from the resulting vector to vector 2 to vector 3. So in this case that we only have 3 vectors there, these would be vector 1, 2, and 3. Anyway, for those who are interested in this kind of stuff, there you go. The detect angles, I have extra stuff here that doesn't really need to be here. It was just for testing. Like if you can ignore this, obviously you can ignore that. and that. So this is where the vectors come in, and I did the function like that. And it just returns how many times it found those degree changes. That's just how I'm getting the strokes from gpencil. All right. All right, so it's easy for me to capture squares and triangles, straight lines, or points. But when we start getting to these kind of shapes, like arcs and like these kind of curves, that's not so easy. Because none of these guys have angle changes that will give me anything. All right. Let me just run this. Okay. Stroke about is just how many shapes I got there, how many strokes I got there. All right, so this is my square. The stroke type detection, that's, forget it, I'm gonna change it anyway. But we got 5 points and 3 angle changes. That's the square. Then this is the line with just 2 points. That's a triangle, so you got two angle changes. And then these 3 guys are these 3. This one, and this one. And then the circle is the one with 7 points. So how do I figure out what is a circle? Can you tell me? Ignore this stroke type. That doesn't work. Okay, so having that in mind, in fact, I'm gonna change this stroke type to be something actually useful. So that we don't have to keep using the len function. That, because I gotta make more questions there. So if it's less than 2, we return point. If it equals 2, it must be a line. Now, I'm finding 3 points using a B-spline, right? Okay, so I know this is a big function, okay? Distribute 3 points in there. I wrote down what it does. Distance from start to end is greater than distance from start to mid. Start end, start mid. Oh, okay. This might be helpful for arcs. But then again, start to end and start to mid. That's what that's doing, looking at the distances. If start to end is bigger, then start to mid. All right. Problem is arc can be almost like a circle, right? These the start and the end could be very close together. I think start to mid should be to figure out the arc. I can't ask that kind of questions. I also thought to make it so that if you wanted to draw arc instead of doing this, you could do this and say draw arc there, and then the program would draw an arc following that. Oh, I'm on my mouse, okay. Following that, Jesus Christ. I thought about that, but it's a bit weird. It's not so intuitive. So basically, with what I was doing there, I can figure out where's the middle of the line. Even if I have 3 points, which I can do using that system, having 3 points here. The angle can change so much. Let's say I got 3 points there. The angle is 71, but if I make my arc almost closed, so an arc can have just a massive amount of angle variation if I do that. If I just grab the first, the middle one, and the last one. So that's, I can't see that helping me. Anyway, I can do here is grab the angle changes. I am using that function, right? Detect angle changes, exactly. And this is going to tell me how many times the angle changed over 100 degrees. So we know that in the case of the square, we're gonna have 3 angle changes. So 1, 2, 3. That's gonna make a square. If we have 2 angle changes, that's gonna be a triangle. That's right. Let's see what Copilot thinks 1 angle change is gonna be. No. Wrong. An arc usually won't have any angle changes over 100 degrees, I think. What's the difference between those shapes over there? I'm looking at these shapes here. These 4 shapes down here. Because none of them have angle changes over 90 degrees, obviously, as you can see. And point amount varies so much from 3, 4, 5, 7. This one gives me a circle using what I got up there. Asking if the distance between the start and the end is bigger than the distance between the start and the middle. And if that's false, which it is in this case, that's a circle. Okay, so these wouldn't really be a line. These would be, I don't know. I don't know. Circle? Okay, I'll just use this function down here instead. All right, just like that. Let me run this again then. Probably clear the console. Okay. So first we have a square, that's correct. Then we have a line, a triangle. Then I don't know. And at the end a circle, which is a circle. Okay. Let me just clear everything here. Let's say I want to do an arc like that. Is that going to give me a circle? Yeah. It does have 1 angle change. It's got 5 points. All right. What if I do that? It gives me a I don't know. And that gives me a circle. The reason I'm doing this is for the user to draw something, and then my extension gives him options based on what the user drawn. So it doesn't necessarily need to tell me exactly what is there. I can give the user several options depending on what he did. Looking at this, one of the circles has one angle change because it kind of created a square there. This guy. It's not a square, but it's got those sharp angle changes there. That could be 4 angle changes. Let me revisit that function. It's weird that it did that. Should have a few more points there, to be honest. So this gives me a possible circle, this gives me a possible circle. This it doesn't know. So I can work with that, I think. But the circles I can see, they usually have more points, as we can see here. 5, 7. While the arc ends up only having 4. That's a beautiful arc. That's a square. I should be using my pen tablet. Okay. Let's see what we got here. So, okay, from here. All right, so the first is 180 arc, 5 points. Then a 90-degree kind of arc, 3 points. Then a 270-degree arc, 5 points. Then a full circle, 7 points. I just came up. Just the thought just crossed my mind of placing a point in the center of the drawn points and then trying to figure out the angle. But to be honest, that's not going to help much because the center point of these guys would be around here. The center point of these guys would be around here. That's not going to help much, is it? Seems to be that circles usually have more than 5 points, but usually is not something that we can go with. Let me just draw a bunch of circles. Even poorly drawn ones. See if these always gives me a circle. That is terrible. Clear the console. Yeah. This always gives me a circle, which is nice. Now I'm gonna try and make it give me a circle without having a circle. Let's try that, doing an arc. Almost closed arc, right? Beautiful arc. Let's do one the other way around. I bet most of these are gonna return a circle. Yeah, all of them actually. And they're actually arcs. They're not circles. Well, I could look at the start and end points. Distance. In fact, I already am doing that, but I don't know, I'm thinking. If I ask if the start to middle distance is bigger than the start to end distance, then that should be a circle, right? In fact, the first point to the second point is always going to be a bigger distance than the first point to the last point, which is less calculations to ask that. And we can see that happening even in sharp stuff like this. This distance is bigger than this distance. And that's to determine a circle, attention. It's not to determine an arc. So if the distance between the first and the second point is bigger than the first and the last point, let's ask that. Copilot, you want to write that for me? No? Okay. So those guys should not return circles anymore. But they did. Did I save this? Am I asking the right question? The distance between 0 and 1 is greater than the distance between 0 and the last one. If that's actually, it's the other way around. It needs to be smaller. 0 and 1. That's greater than the first and the last one. It's not a circle. It's not a circle. So if this is true, it's not a circle. So I'll do carry on with this guy down here. I'll just return circle if everything fails. And I'll bring this guy up here, which is the I don't know, right? So those guys are just gonna give me I don't know, but at least I know that it's not a circle. Even if it doesn't fall in here. So I probably want to do a else here. Now, this question is, the distance between the start and the end is greater than the distance between the start and the middle. Clear the console, please. I have a shortcut for that, I just can't remember. Clear the console. Okay, I got some circles and some question marks. Are you actually saying that the distance between 0 and 1 is not greater than 0 and -1? In which case? Because when I look at the screen here, I don't see that happening nowhere. Oh, it's this guy. This distance is shorter than that distance. Yeah, but these aren't circles anyway, right? Which means I shouldn't have circled there anywhere. So this doesn't really tells me that it's not a circle. Okay, let me do this. Right? In fact, I don't know. I just want to see what that gives me. Oh, I still got 3 circles in there. So 3 of them still come down here and give me a circle. 3 of them, the start and the end is bigger than the distance from the start and the middle. And this was more for curves, for lines and splines, to be honest, this question here. I just gotta stop the script from getting down here by asking a question that makes sense to figure out if it's an arc or not. How do we do that? My mind is locked on looking at distances between points. Maybe I shouldn't do that. Should think of something else. Anyway, I'm gonna grab a cup of coffee. I'll be right back. I'm back. Every single one of them has more than 4 points. I think what I'm trying to do might be a bit silly. As a user, I might draw something like this and want a circle, right? It just didn't finish the circle, but I want a circle. So when I get something like that, I should just give options for a circle or an arc, I guess. Probably the best solution. Is this a point? Is this a line? I should have made that in order, right? Point, 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 point. Line, 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 line. 4 points, 4 lines. We just clear this first. Let's make sure that works. Oh, I got an error. Oh yeah, because I'm looking at angle changes between several points. All right, and these happening. Detect angle changes 133. That's because I need at least 3 vectors for an angle change. I should get a line. Never reached this. So I got more than 2 points on those lines. All right. Well, if I have 3 points, why does angle change give me an error? Least index out of range, vex 0 and vex 1. That was when I have only 1 point. Vector lit -2. That happened in line 3, 4, 5. Right. Okay. So point, 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 line, line, line. Good. Let's see if all of those give me squares. I think this one is not. This one is not gonna give me. It's got 1, 2, 3, 4 angle changes. 1, 2, 3 angle changes. 1, 2, 3 angle changes. This one's got 4 angle changes. Yeah, this one is gonna give me a circle, I think. I didn't thought about that one. Whoa, even worse. Even worse, I got triangles. How the hell do I have triangles? Two angle changes? Really? This one gave me a square. It's weird. Okay, let me print the angle changes here. Three a square, three a square, two a triangle. Two a triangle. So it's two angle changes above, under 100 degrees. Okay, which was the last three that I drawn? Let me see. 1, 2, 3. Those are the last three. So these two guys are giving me triangles. Very strange. Oh, it's not. It's not under 100, so it doesn't detect an angle change. It's 103. This one is under 100. Yeah, sure. Maybe I should tighten up the threshold. And that's 104. I don't know. If I start increasing the threshold, it starts getting into circle or arc territory or something like that. This is a skewed square, so problem is it's highly likely that somebody is gonna end up drawing a square. I just did. I could bring it up to 110 possibly. I don't know if that's gonna create some other issues, but let's bring it up to 110. Just clear all that, clear this. Yeah, now I start getting some issues because one of them is like, oh, I got 4 angle changes. Oh, that's that crazy one, the last one. So do not draw squares like this, I guess. I can put that in the documentation. How to draw a square so that the algorithm picks up on it. That is not a square, that is a square. Alright, so what if I now add some triangles and stuff? Triangles should be pretty easy. I keep on drawing in the same manner. Let's start from the top. Okay, so I should have 5 triangles. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, triangles are pretty easy. They're gonna always come out as triangles. I'm still coming back at drawing arcs with 2 lines. What am I trying to do? Oh yeah, clear the annotations. If I do this, I could do this too for arcs, because I got a start, I got an end, and I got the high point of the arc. Yeah, that would be terrible. I think these guys are gonna give me a line or something else. Yeah, these guys fall down here. They do have 1 angle change. And they do have 3 points, all of them. What do you call that shape anyway? It's not a triangle. Not a triangle. It's just 1 angle change, by the way. Yeah, we could use it for arcs, I guess. Doing that would always return an arc. We could do that. Well, not really, I mean. You'd get options to choose. What do you want? You want an arc? Triangle? Let's call this an arrow. And then I gotta decide, according to what the shape that was drawn and what I got from this function, what options I'm gonna give the user. Why don't I have a... Okay. Arrow. And a triangle. Okay. Okay, that's bad. Square. That's not a square. Does look like a square, but it's not a square. Yeah, those angle changes that I changed, what I changed here, 110, that's way too much. Because, as you can see here, that kind of looks like a square. Yeah, I gotta tighten up the angle change. Let's go with 105. I could try and add more points, but adding more points is the algorithm is just it's gonna be a mess. Now I got a triangle. Uh, yeah, and the triangle is coming from this crap. Because we got two angle changes right there. Here is where that question of asking if the start to end point are bigger than the start to middle point. Why I have a type ignore here? Oh, because vector distance wants what? Vectors? Doesn't need to be vectors. Yeah, where are you? And these lines are always going to have more than 2 points. So I'm going to start, I'm going to need this around here. So if this is the case, it can't be, well, it can be a triangle. 1, 2 angle changes. Huh. I think I might need more points, to be honest. Let's try and use more points and see what the result is. If I change my simplify polyline here to a bigger number equals smaller point amount. A smaller number, bigger point amount. Yeah, more points now. Okay. So now we got, yeah, 2 circles and question mark. That's a bit better. And this should be a triangle. This should be an arrow. And this should be a square. Yeah, and it is. Square, arrow, triangle. The other ones are giving me circles. I can always, yeah, okay, let's ignore the circles and the 3 dots for now. The 3 question marks. I just want to make sure I always get a square, a triangle. I think that's about how much I'm gonna be able to determine if it's a point, a line, an arrow, a triangle, or a square. And then if it's none of that, it could be a spline or a circle. But looking at this is much better. Less confusion, less chances of thinking that this is a square. And this is basically it's 2D shapes if we think about it. This is a 2D shape, all right? In 3D, it's gonna give me different results. If I'm drawing on top of a shape of a character or a sphere or whatever, it's gonna give me different results. Line in a square. Yep. A circle. Sure. It's fine. So what is this? I don't know, he says. I have no idea what the hell that is. Should be a circle. How do I determine circle again here? Ah. And this question is wrong, is it? So the distance between vector 0 and 1 is not smaller than 0 and the last one? No, it's not. But I wanted to ask if this is bigger than this. This is the opposite. Now I get a circle. Okay. This one gives me a triangle. That can't happen. That cannot happen. Well, I would have thought that I would have more points in something like this. These also gives me a triangle. Question mark. Question mark. Question mark. Now I can't reproduce what I did initially. I thought this would give me a triangle. It's not giving me a triangle now. No, just question mark. How about circles? Circle. 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 Question mark. Arrow. Triangle. Square. Square. Triangle. Line. Point. This is probably going to give me a square. Triangle in this case. If I do this, that's the problem with angle changes. That's a triangle. I thought these would count as an angle change. Square. I don't think I'm gonna get this algorithm spot on anytime soon. I could try and make sure if this is really a square using that distance from start to end based on distance from start to first point or middle point. So basically, where's the square? So if start to end distance is bigger than start to middle, so start to end is bigger than start to middle. Middle would be one of these two, actually. That might work. It would be a knot, by the way. Let's see if that helps in not getting squares and triangles from other different stuff. And possibly use that with circle as well later on. Okay, so this shouldn't give me a square anymore. Yeah, it does not. Just gotta make sure that the square will give me a square. Yeah, that gives me a square. I don't know, this is a sharp angle change. It might not give me a square. Oh, it still gave me a square. Okay. Where triangle. This gave me a triangle? Are you serious? Oh. That means it doesn't have three angle changes below 105 degrees. But that is definitely a square. It's not a triangle. We have 5 points. We got two angle changes. 5 points with two angle changes. So I'm looking at if he has two angle changes. It doesn't have three, so he skips being a square right away. But now that I have more points, I can actually increase this to 10, I think. Let's test that. Well, in this example, it's probably gonna work, but I keep testing. Okay, so now that's a square. That's a triangle. Yeah, exactly. Because of that curvature there, I got it. I got a circle. Does this work with these guys? Line. Okay. All right. Right. Question mark for that one. circle for that one. That's good. So it does work with this as well. Okay. What's the other one? Ah, that's just the eraser. All right. So this should always give me triangle, right? Oh, right click. How does this polygon thing work? Come on. Right, so right click off the shape should get me out of that mode. Right. That's an arrow. Lovely. Okay. Square. I guess the best way to probably draw a square would be with that. Ah, but here we got a problem because that's already a shape. If I draw another one here, I'm just gonna have lines. I do have an option for for the operator to interpret everything as a single line, and that would connect them all. Although the objective is actually for the user to do something fast like that. Where? It says I'm a square. Okay, let's go back to that test. Is this a square? No. Okay, so a triangle, I could go like this, and these has three angle changers, so this should be a triangle, yes? No, we do not know what that is. Some crazy shape. Good. How about this? What is this? Good. Good. And this? That is a circle. Good. And this? We don't know what that is. Okay, good. Triangle. And that is not a triangle. Oh, it is a triangle. Good. Didn't thought it would come out as a triangle. Triangle. Good. Looking good. It's looking good right now. It's looking good. The first one is a line, and the second one we don't know. Okay. Okay, it's not too bad so far. I think we're getting somewhere. We still have arrows, right? Arrow. Yeah, arrow. Okay, I'll be right back. I was looking at circles as well, trying to really determine if it's a circle or not, but that's I can't figure out how we can do that. Hang on. I bet if I do something like this, and then I come down here, that's gonna be a circle. Yeah, it tells me it's a circle because of the amount of angle changes and where it ends. Well, this is not gonna be a circle. Yeah. Well, if I do something really shaky. What? He's saying that this is a triangle. Oh my god, this is a triangle? Right. It has two angle changes that go over 110. That are under 110 degrees. I guess this one and this one. Okay, another thing that I can add to triangle to avoid that from happening is the point amount. As we can see, we have a lot of points. A triangle is usually not going to have more than, you would think, 1, 2, 3, 4 points. But that's if it's a perfect triangle. If it's something like that, yeah, it would have 1, 2, 3, 4. But if the user does like a bending curve like that, that's gonna have more than 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, this still works. 3 triangles. But the last two, one has 4 points. This one has 4 points. This one has 5 points. The big one has 9 points. So we could ask the question, if it has more than 6, it's possibly not a triangle. Can I do a triangle with 6? I'll try to make it a little bit bendy. Let's see how many points do I got there. This is 4 points. It identified 4 points here. I think we can go with, if it's more than 5 points, definitely not a triangle, right? I got vec length, okay. I said 5, right? Yeah, smaller than 5. I think we can get away with that. Yeah. So now this big one is a circle and this small one is a triangle. Yeah, but now this gives me a circle. The second one has 5 points. Maybe we should bump this to 6. In this case, we know it's gonna work, so yeah. Let me just draw another triangle here. Some artists are really curvy on their drawings, so that is a triangle. I don't know what that is. That does not look like a triangle, but it still gives me a triangle though. That's good. Triangle. Okay, let's see if the squares are not giving me triangles now. No, that's a square. Good. This has been giving me a circle, but if I do this, yeah, it gives me question mark. So could be anything. Could be an arc. Could be a crazy line. So far, so good. I already have a bunch of shapes that I create according to what I got. I just have to filter out what I got. This is in stroke type. I should have point amount on the function itself. I don't need this here. And now using my pen tablet, I'm going to check out what results we get. If I do a self-report like this, I should have the stroke point, the type in inside of Blender. Right there. Because I'm not going to be seeing my prints. Okay, let's see where this fails. I like to keep changing color so I don't get bored. Right. Arrow. Okay. Triangle. Okay. That's a very skewed square, but it still gives me a square though. Okay. Square. Circle. Doesn't know what it is, so it could be an arc or something else. Good. Doesn't know what it is. Correct answer for now. Triangle. You don't want that to give you a square, right? That's not acceptable from the artist, okay? Yeah. Artists should do something like that, I think. Correct. 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 This is a new line, so it gives me something and then a line. It needs to be all in one go. And I'll do this in the documentation. I'll let the user know how he's supposed to do stuff. So I'm thinking using this to the arrow to then display an arc. I think it's better because I can't really tell what an arc is. Can't tell the difference between an arc and a circle. These will usually give me a circle. Apparently not usually. Always. That's good, right? So why have this, you might ask? Well, so let's say I'm sculpting something. I'm sculpting a monkey or whatever. And I don't have eyes yet. And I want to add eyes. So let's actually but when you're sculpting, you actually usually have some geometry here, just a hole or something. But either way, I wouldn't do. I could do this, but it's gonna go there because it's gonna go where the that is, the cursor. I could do this, and here it's gonna fail. Pretty sure it's gonna fail. Still gave me a circle because it's, yeah, sure. Circle. Okay, that's fair. Yeah, but if I try to do a triangle, I need angle changes, crazy angle changes here. Come on. Something like that. That should not give me a triangle. Yeah, exactly. So if I wanted to create like a triangular or arrow or whatever, I would actually have to go and shift right mouse button and get it there. And then instead of doing surface, I would do 3D view. And now I can do a triangle there and get the triangle because it's like that. Is it shift S? Yeah. Cursor to world origin. Okay, so now it's in the world origin. So what is view? Oh, it still follows. It's still going to be where the cursor is, right? So what if I change the cursor over here? It's going to stay where the cursor is if it's view. Okay. No. View always goes to the center. I didn't know that. Not the center, actually. I mean, if I do it there, it stays in the viewport, right? Of course. Of course. And can I do something with this? No, because it's a 2D. It's 2D position. Yeah, the annotation is 2D. It's not 3D. I think. So if the placement is view, I can't really use what. Let me check this error and see if we can fix this. Hello? Oh. Are you serious, Blender? I can't take it out of here. Is it locked? No. Right, whatever. Oh, if it, I already did something for that. So if it's screen, I'm trying to raycast it, but I'm failing. Context object has no attribute X. That's in 397 of I'm expecting a screen position. And I'm passing in the context. Okay, so I'll probably change this function. But screen pause, get object info is true or false. And then the context. What is P here? Oh. So each point has a screen position, I think. and he wants that first. And then he's asking if I want the object information. If additional object info, it will return a bunch of different stuff. So no, I don't. So I want to give it P and then context, say context. First parameter is P. Okay. And now I gotta use Blender in this window. All right, what's the problem now? The sequence was expected at dimension 1, not a float, 315. Right, so stroke points now gives me yeah, a list of floats. It doesn't give me anything, it doesn't return anything. How much did I change this? Is this even the right function, or I changed the name of the function? Oh my god. Right, this comes from somewhere else. Let me go to that somewhere else. I got the same thing here. What? Ah, crap. Am I blind? There's a return here. Idiot. There is a return. It's just a function, so I kind of felt I kind of didn't even notice that. Okay. Raycast object cursor. That's what it returns. All right. So what is he complaining? He's complaining that frame pause. Is this really a list of floats? But it shouldn't be a list of floats. expect screen pause in 0 to 100 values. Now probably giving it, yeah, vectors, 2D vectors. So why would I create this here? This is weird. So what values do I get in this case? To the vectors, right? No, vector, 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 vector. Yeah. Oh, right. They still have the third value, but they're actually 2D. And I bet I need another function, not this. Returns projected 2D position to a 3D plane based on view rotation and cursor location, or an object if it is present. Expect screen pause in 0 to 100 values. Why do you expect screen pause in 0 to 100 values? Because I was using this somewhere else, right? And that's why it's failing. Yeah, but now I'm just using it there. I actually want to see this after. Down here. Right, I need... I think I just need this raycast object cursor. Like, I'm messing these up. I think I need this one. Yeah. Let me see if it expects pos 2D to be a 2D vector, or if it takes in a 3D vector. If it takes in a 3D vector, it'll complain about it. So what do you want first? the position 2D, the region, and the region data, and then the context. Sure. I can provide you with all that. Not a problem. You have the context. I don't know why he wants all that stuff. All right, let's see what we get now here. Useless. Useless numbers. That's what we get. Go. I need to see my command line. This is okay. Now I can. Okay, good. Uh, okay, so my right cast functions are working. This is giving me the right thing. Let's see what. It might be something that changed in the Python API that is screwing me over. I got 20 something minutes to figure these out. Then I gotta go. Okay, so here I'm using mouse raycasts. Okay. Wait a minute, what does this one return first? It returns the object if it. It should return location, and it's not returning That's not really a location that I'm looking for. Let's try and give it a 2D vector. It still gives me a freaking float, man. Seriously? I'm grabbing number 0. Of course it gives me a float. What an idiot. Because it was a different function back then, I guess. He draw it. He draw the circle here, the triangle here. Uh, all right. Okay, that's probably because I don't know. It's because I don't know. I have no idea. Right, that's why the other one wasn't working, I guess. I might go back to the other one. Let me try passing in a 3D vector instead. Same result, okay. And let me try go back to the previous one, which was screen raycast, right? And that didn't need at least two. Yeah. So this one, I think, does it work? Yeah, it's there, all right. It projected it onto the mesh right there. Okay. So this way we can project whatever is on the view to the mesh like that. And of course it gave me circle because, well, there's a lot of angle changes here, so. But it is a projection. Unless it's got nothing to project, here it should just place it on the view based on where the cursor is. So if I place the cursor there, and I make my triangle go there, I get, oh no, I get a projection. Yeah, of course I get a projection in this case, yeah. If I say 3D cursor, then, because I didn't draw it, this was drawn before, it's still gonna give me a projection, right? Yeah, it's still a projection. A weird ass projection. I get a triangle, and it's a triangle where, yeah, that's it. Good thing I tested that out because it would not work. Either way, this needs a lot of testing. Plus, I still have to do what? Ooh. Doesn't this info get placed in the terminal as well? I think only warnings go to the terminal. Yeah, only warnings go to the terminal. I have the warning here. Actually, no. Strange. Okay. So I got it to a better point, I think. Detecting shapes a little bit better. Now I just got to figure out what to do when I get each shape. Going back to this. Let's say I'm sculpting something and I want an eye over there. I would place my 3D cursor there, draw my eye. This would then tell my script it's a circle, and I would give options, pop up a pie menu or whatever, giving options to select what do you want, a sphere, a circle, cylinder, right? And if I comment these out, what I have ready now on the background is exactly that. So I don't have a sphere here yet, but you get the picture. We could just place the object there as we wish. So really easy way when you're sculpting or just modeling in general, and you want to add a primitive or not so primitive, like this one, for example, which is not working very well, as you can see, but it's an arc. Um, this one, however, it really places the arc roughly around where the user asked for it. So if I just increase the points, you can see we got an arc there starting and ending. I just need to create the geometry from these points later on. And we can actually rotate this, enlarge it, or make it smaller, and rotate like that to adjust. And the cylinder here is actually a cone, I think. Right now looks weird because of this thickness being in the center. Is that why? That's strange. It wasn't like that before. Oh, is it because of the radius? I don't know what I did here. I'm obviously connecting the geometry in a weird way here. Yeah, so that's kind of the goal with this. You're sculpting, you hold D, you draw a shape, and then you call annotation to mesh or whatever, and apparently you get an error. But this is because I haven't accommodated for more than one shape down in the code. Yeah. And I would need to fix that, obviously. And then you can like change a little bit of the radius to accommodate for how big or how small you really wanted to draw your shape. Yeah. Okay. So I'm gonna return. Highly likely I will return in the afternoon because I gotta finish the stuff that really matters for this version 3.0. What I'm looking at right now is stuff for version 3.1, which I have to just leave it on the sidelines for now. I don't know if I leave these comments or not. Okay, I'll leave it like that. Right. Goodbye. Goodbye. This is what I gotta work on when I come back. So I gotta remove that operator from there. Yeah. And I gotta organize this pie menu. Yep. Gonna go and get ready for the gym. And I'll be back in the afternoon. Okay. Oh yeah, might as well do something here before I go. I got another 7 minutes. I'll save this as a project instead of a startup. No, actually, this is ridiculous. I don't need any of this. I'll just clear all that. See, I get info here, which I find it strange that in my scripts it doesn't show up when we use a report. Anyway, what did I just do? Okay. Come on, don't save. I'll be back in the afternoon. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being watching. I don't know who's there, but I know someone is. So I'll see you in the afternoon.